Today we're going to talk about two different ways to divide polynomials. But before we do that, we're going to review how to divide using long division with just a simple numeric example. So I have 3,642 divided by 5. So the top term goes inside and the bottom term goes on the outside. And if you recall, we're going to work one number at a time. So we're going to start right here with this 3. I want to know how many times will the 5 fit into the 3? Okay, the answer is 0. So now we're looking 5 into 36. So I know that 5 will go into 36 7 times completely. And then I'm going to multiply. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract that and bring down the 4. And then we're going to work the next step of division. So my first step is going to be to divide. We said 36 divided by 5. Multiply 7 times 5. Subtract 36 minus 35. And then finally, our last step is to bring down. And then we're going to start the process over at the top. So then we're going to repeat. So I'm going to divide again. 5 goes into 14 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. 14 minus 10 is 4. So we subtracted, bring down the 2. 5 goes into 48 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract, I get a 2. At this point, we have a couple of options. We can write our remainder as remainder 2. We're not going to do that. You could add a decimal, bring down a 0, continue dividing, and you would get 728.4. We're also not going to do that. Okay, our third option is to write the remainder as a fraction. So I have 2 as the remainder, and 5 is what I'm dividing by. So technically 2/5 is 2 divided by 5. So we could say that this division problem yields a response of 728 and 2/5. We're going to be writing our polynomials as remainders in fraction format. All right, so let's divide x cubed plus 14x squared plus 43x plus 25 divided by x plus 10. So x cubed plus 14x squared plus 43x plus 25 goes inside. X plus 10 goes outside. So when we're dividing polynomials, we're only going to look at one term on the outside for the actual division problem. So here we're focusing on the x. So starting here, my first step is to divide. I want to know x cubed divided by x equals what? So x cubed divided by x equals what? So I know from previous units that equals x squared. So I'm going to write it here. My next step is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply x squared times x, which is x to the third, x squared times 10, which is 10x squared. So divide, multiply. My next step is to subtract. So when I subtract, that means I'm going to change the signs of everything here. I have 14x squared minus 10x squared is 4x squared. X cubed minus x cubed cancels out. So I've divided, I've multiplied, I've subtracted. My next step is to bring down the next term. So plus 43x gets brought down. Back to the top. So we're going to divide. Once again, we're only looking at the first terms. So I have 4x squared divided by x. That equals 4x. So I have plus 4x. Okay, multiply. So 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 10 is 40x. Subtract is my next step. So I'm going to change the signs. That cancels out. I get 3x. Bring down to plus 25. Okay, once again, we're looking at first terms only. So I have 3x divided by x, which is just 3. So I have plus 3. Multiply 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtracting means we're going to change the signs. I have a negative 5. There's nothing left to bring down. So negative 5 is my remainder. So remember, we're going to write the remainder as a fraction, minus 5 over what I'm dividing by. So x plus 10. So my answer to this division problem is x squared plus 4x plus 3 minus 5 over x plus 10. So this is actually example number 3, even though my formatting is kind of messed up. So I went ahead and set it up. The first term goes inside the house, second term goes on the outside. Once again, we're only looking at the first terms. So I'm going to think to myself, what is 40x cubed divided by 4x? So I know that the 40 divided by 4 is 10. X cubed divided by x is x squared. So we have 10x squared. After I divide, my next step is to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by both terms on the outside. 10x squared times 4x is 40x cubed. 10x squared times negative 5 is negative 50x squared. When I get to my subtraction step, that means I'm changing the signs on everything to subtract. So that becomes a negative 40x cubed and a positive 50x squared. So these two terms cancel, and I have negative 8x squared. We're going to bring down the negative 6x, and we are dividing. So I have negative 8x squared divided by 4x. That's going to equal negative 2x. So I'm going to put the negative 2x at the top. Multiply negative 2x times 4x is negative 8x squared. Negative 2x times negative 5 is positive 10x. Subtraction step, we change the signs on everything. So these cancel. I get negative 16x. Bring down the plus 24. I have negative 16x divided by 4x, which gives me negative 4. Negative 4 times 4x is negative 16x. Negative 4 times 5 is positive 20. Change the signs to subtract. This cancels, and I get a 4, which is my remainder. So my remainder is a positive 4. We put it over 4x minus 5, the value that we're dividing by. All right, let's do one last example. This is number 5, even though formatting is once again messed up. So when we're dividing, we need to make sure that all of our terms are in order based on their exponential value. So we want to organize them in descending order. So the biggest exponent first. So I need to start with 42x to the 4th minus 60x cubed. I don't have an x squared term, but that's okay. I have negative 49x plus 76 divided by 7x minus 10. So we're going to look at first terms only, 42x to the 4th divided by 7x. So 42 divided by 7 is 6. X to the 4th divided by x is x cubed. So I've got 6x cubed. When I multiply by both of these, I get 42x to the 4th minus 60x cubed. So you'll see that when I subtract, when I change the signs on both of these, they both actually cancel out. So I have 0. That's okay. I'm going to continue by bringing down my minus 49x. 7x into negative 49x is negative 7, because I have negative 49x divided by 7x. And then I'm going to multiply. So here I have negative 49x plus 70. Okay, you'll see that I need to actually bring down my plus 76 here as well. Since two terms canceled out, I need that 76 in order to combine it with the 70. So I'm going to subtract by changing the signs on both of these. 49x's cancel out, and I'm left with a positive 6. So that's going to come up here as my remainder. So plus 6 over 7x minus 10.